PC fam, welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. It's Saturday, beautiful day today. Chill, how you living?
Living. Playing tournament start the 15th, Hawks. 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Oh yeah, yep. We're close. It's almost there. Today's March 29th. Yeah, so what do you call April is right around the corner, and we getting there. We getting there. Okay, we see y'all getting in here, man. Mm-hmm. Let's get into this, Chill.
Two weeks from Tuesday, y'all. 2 weeks from Tuesday.
I'm excited, but with that being said, Chill, it's like one of those things. Like I'm excited about it, but at the same time, this means the season's almost over. You know, and so
yeah,
we got to get back to the offseason and wait another 3-4 months, and God, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming, y'all. So y'all get ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start the show off today talking about a team that most of us slept on, and that's the Detroit Pistons.
Yes. Yes, we did.
I know I'm still shocked by how good this team is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you got anything to say about them? I mean, they just beat the Cavaliers last night. The Cavaliers have dropped quite a bit of games these past 2 weeks, but Detroit, though. I mean, Detroit did it too. So what do you think is going on in Detroit?
So let's rewind, Ox. So this is the same Detroit Pistons team that last year they lost 28 straight games. They got 7 dudes off the crew that was on the crew this year, that was on the crew last year. And this is the same team that upgraded with Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Paul Reed. That's what they upgraded with. And if we're being honest, Ox, you didn't care. None of us did. None of us cared.
I know I didn't.
We didn't care.
Y'all know I feel about
if you say you did, you lying. If you say you cared, you lying. You didn't. And for this team to, I think they won 15 games last year. They're on pace as of right now to win close to 50 games. I mean, I think it's 10 games left. I think they're gonna win anywhere between 45 and 47 games. That's almost a 30-game increase from last year. With that being said, they beat a damn good Cleveland team last night without their best player, Cade Cunningham. You know, they've won 7 of their last 10 games. The difference in this season and last season is attitude more than anything. So when JB Bickerstaff walks in the door, we already think we suck. Okay, so we got to change that mindset. We garbage. So Coach Bickerstaff's logic is, all right, before we even start to talk basketball, I got to change that mindset. Okay, we don't suck. We did, but we don't anymore. And the reason why we're going to win games is because we're going to outwork teams. We're going to out-tough teams. We're going to play basketball the right way. And I'm going to have your back as a coach. Don't worry about the officiating. Don't worry about none of that. I'm going to have your back as a coach. And he does that, Ox. And when you have, as a player, when you have a coach that has your back like that, and on top of that, puts the battery in your back, he's got Cade Cunningham playing downhill more. He has Isaiah Stewart, who, if he doesn't have the reputation that he has, I think he's an all-league defender. I think that's the reason why he's not going to make the all-league defensive team, because of the reputation that he has. We've seen rotation players make all-league defensive teams. Alex Caruso just did it not too long ago. So we've seen rotation players make all-league defensive teams without having that kind of reputation. So I think that's one of the main issues with him. Tim Hardaway Jr. is looking like one of the better shooters in the game. Malik Beasley is in the conversation for 6th man of the year. That's because the offense that they run is an offense where they screen a lot. Dirty work guys like Duren, dirty work guys like Isaiah Stewart, get these guys open for shots, and Coach Bickerstaff is putting them in a position where they can be successful. I appreciate everything that's going on with this Detroit Pistons team, and he's got Fontecchio coming off the bench. He's got Hollins coming off the bench. He's got 7, 8 guys that are damn good in addition to his starting 5, right? He's got Malik Beasley coming off the bench. He's got 8 guys that are damn good. I like the direction of this Detroit Pistons team. I do. I like everything that I see from them.
The Fontecchio, the kid Fontecchio, he's never seen a shot he doesn't like. I mean, he comes out to strictly shoot that ball. And and I've been kind of low on Tobias, but I think he's playing very well this season, bringing a veteran presence and just being a calm, veteran guy on that team. I think he's really playing his part. Tim Hardaway Jr., I've always thought he was one of the better shooters in the NBA. I think maybe, who knows? Maybe it's easier to shoot when Cade's passing it to you instead of a grenade launcher. Who knows?
It really ain't that when I'm wide open and you hit me in the pocket, Ox, and it's
right.
9-10 seconds on the shot clock as opposed to 3, and I got somebody trailing me. You know what? The basket look a little bit different. It does.
Hey, never know. That's just the thought. That's just the thought. But but yeah, I do think to your point, Coach Bickerstaff really came in there, and I think he wanted to coach. And I think that makes all the difference. I always bring up when Coach Mike Tomlin from the Steelers, when I always bring it up in the interview when he said some coaches don't want to do their job. You know what I mean? It's like if a player, if anybody in your team is struggling, if the whole offense or defense, if everything is struggling, it's your job to make it better. It's your job to get your team ready to play and get your players to play at the highest level. So shout out to Coach Bickerstaff.
Absolutely. And if I think about how that coaching issue was last season, as a player, whomever they bring in after Coach Williams, my attitude is this is going to be the same thing. He didn't want the job. So this new coach, he comes in, he probably doesn't want the job either. And I think Coach Bickerstaff completely changed that mindset. Not only do I want to be here, if you don't want to be here, we're getting you up out of here because we're going to turn this thing around. That's what we're going to do. Now, Ox, I do have a bone to pick with you a little bit off the strength that I know how you feel about Tobias Harris, right? I do know, but I feel like this was a really good situation for him. I do. I feel like this was a really good situation for him. There weren't a lot of expectations. Not only were there not a lot of expectations, he's still young enough where he can be viable and he can be productive on a young team. That was on their way. That wasn't really expected to do anything. And I do think that he deserves some more credit for what he did in terms of helping turn this thing around because there wasn't a lot of optimism going on there.
100%. Like I said, I'm impressed with Tobias Harris this season. I think he's bringing that veteran presence, and sometimes that's more important than the stats and everything you bring on the court. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can go and teach and just be a calming presence. And a lot of guys that are young, they still don't understand the ups and downs of an 82 game season. A lot of times they might not understand what it takes to get through an 82 game season and stay at a top level for 82 games. Veteran guys can help with that. So I have nothing negative to say about Tobias Harris today about this season. Shout out to him.
And then to watch them last night without Cade Cunningham, right? Without Cade Cunningham, I thought they did a job on both Evan Mobley and Jared Allen around the basket. I felt like they were tougher than them. I felt like they made Cleveland make tough shots. Cleveland was able to get back in the game. I'm not going to argue that. Cleveland was 100% able to get back in the game. I actually thought they were going to win that game after being down 20. I thought they were going to win. But Detroit was able to stay tough. I think last year they would have lost that game. 100% they would have lost that game because I think they would have ran out of gas. I don't think that they would have had the poise that they did at the end. I don't think that they would have been able to handle the onslaught of both Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, I think he went for 22 in the third quarter. I think that would have sunk them. And the fact that they stayed the course and kept running their sets, I thought that was big time for Detroit. That was a big time win.
Definitely. I mean, had a big game from Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway had a good game. Dennis Schroeder had some pretty big minutes as well.
Yep.
No Tobias, no Cunningham. That's just a quality win, especially at this stage in the season when you're trying to get your playoff situation right, trying to get ready for playoffs. You can't take your foot off the gas, and they certainly did not. So shout out to them.
I think the Knicks, because not the Knicks. I take that back. The standings as of today right? The standings as of today is they would see Indiana. If the playoffs started today, they got to see Indiana. Ox, I love that series. That is a knockdown, drag-out series. I love that series. I love the clash of the two styles. The Indiana Pacers are a fast-paced, long ball shooting, get up and down the floor team. The Detroit Pistons are somewhat of that, but they also are grit, grind, not walk the ball up, but make you play their style of basketball, rough, rugged defensive team. And the question is can Indiana hold up to that kind of physicality? Because when we get to the playoffs, a lot of that is allowed. So guys like Isaiah Stewart, right? Guys like Jalen Duren, they get to push a little bit more. And the lane isn't as wide open as it was, in January. It's a little bit more condensed now that you got those big guys in the paint. And it's not as easy to get into the paint or finish at the rim. And I think that that's a recipe for what Detroit wants to do. Now, I do understand that, Tyrese Halliburton, this season in particular, Ox, I think he's a much better shot creator than he's been in the past. And I think he can get to the rim better than he has in the past. But with that defense, collectively with Detroit, with both Malik Beasley, who's actually playing defense this year. He was playing defense in Milwaukee too, but playing defense on this Detroit team. And the addition of Dennis Schroeder, oh, man, that's so big for them. I think that's huge for them. I think that's going to be a great playoff series if it ends up staying right where it is. I think it's going to be a great playoff series.
I would be very excited for that series. I mean, there's a couple of those series in the East that if it gets to it, they got the 4 and the 5. Milwaukee's 2 games back from Detroit, and New York is 2 games up on Indiana. I could very well see it staying just like this in that top 6 with only what do we got? With only 9 games, 10 games left to play. I could really see it staying this way. So Detroit and Indiana might give us a good series, and that would leave Milwaukee and New York to play each other. And I think that would also be another really good series. But more about Milwaukee to come.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
That's all. I was just saying, we got more about Milwaukee later on. But
absolutely. And I remember, big fella, we were talking last year, and I remember you telling me playoff seedings were coming about, and you were saying, of all the teams, you don't want to keep New Orleans away from us. You don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
There's some people that's looking at Detroit and Indiana going, what can we do to get them out of that 4 spot? Because they probably like Milwaukee better than having to deal with Detroit. Because there's some people who see Detroit like you saw New Orleans last year. There's some people who see them just like that rough, rugged, in your face, hard nose.
So, Chill, you're telling me that you think Indiana is trying to get that 3 seed?
Don't think for 1 second, Ox. You and I have gone back and forth with this plenty of times. There's teams that duck smoke on the regular, and there are some people. It might not be outwardly, but there's some people that are looking at this Detroit team in Indiana, and not just in the organization as fans. There's people in Indiana that's looking at this Detroit team like, do we really want to see these dudes? I mean, do we have a better shot against the Knicks? Do we have a better shot against Milwaukee? I mean, do we have a better shot against them? Because this team right here, because this is going to be, I can't see Indiana walking by them in 4 or 5 games. I think this is a 6-7 game dogfight, Ox. And
that's just self-preservation.
100% it is. And I can see very much how you felt. And this doesn't mean Ox is soft. You just was looking at New Orleans like, if I had to choose between them and having to deal with somebody else, I want to deal with somebody else. Now, if I have to play them, 100%, this is what it is. I got to deal with these dudes. But I can tell you right now, if I don't have to deal with them, which other way can I go? Okay, I'll do that. If I have to see the Knicks in round 1, I'd much rather play them than have to deal with Detroit, considering what Detroit is. Yes, there's some people in Indiana thinking like you were thinking about New Orleans last year. 100% there are.
I'm looking forward to that series. I mean, you know what that does too, Chill? It could potentially rekindle old rivalries. You know what I mean? Detroit and Indiana, that's a good hard-nosed blue collar. That's a blue collar rivalry. You know what I mean? That's one of the rivalries we love that. We need that. That's like Steelers Ravens. You know what I mean? Like we need that.
And to your point, Ox, don't forget, not only is it in the Eastern Conference, we in the same division. right? We're in the same division. So we've seen each other all year long. Now we go from seeing each other all year long to seeing each other in the playoffs, which means that the temperature is going to go up even more. I don't like you as it is, right? I don't like you as it is. But now all the marbles are on the table. So now that disdain for you, it heightens. I really want to take you out now because that means if I don't take you out, you're taking me out. There's no tomorrows. So we could see some fireworks in this Indiana Detroit series if we get that. I think we'd be lucky to get Indiana and Detroit in the playoffs.
I think we would as well. In other news though, Chill, it appears that Trey Young has become the youngest player or fastest player. Let me make sure I got that right. Is he the youngest or the fastest? Either way, player to reach 12,000 points and 4,500 assists. So
incredible. He seems like the easiest guy to leave out of conversations. He's small, he's inefficient, he turns the ball over. But that's the downside. The upside is he is a bucket getter. He is one of the best distributors of his generation. Not in the game today, of his generation. There aren't many better passers in the game, not just today, of this generation than Trey Young. He's one of the best passers of his generation. When I think about distributors of this generation, Chris Paul, Russ, guys like that, Rondo. Trey Young is in that conversation with those guys, as good of a passer as he is. Now, yes, he can turn the basketball over, but so can Russ. He could turn the basketball over, but so did Chris Paul. Guys, when you have the basketball in your hands as much as a guy like Trey Young does, that's going to happen. The decision making of Trey Young is a reflection on what happens with the Atlanta Hawks. And this team that he was on this year is such a disappointment because I feel like this is the most talented team that he was on, and they were hovering right around that 5-6 spot before Jalen Johnson got hurt. So I think that they would have made some noise in the playoffs had Jalen Johnson not gotten hurt. I don't want them to blow this unit up because I really like what they're doing there, and Trey Young is a testament to that. But I think it's easy. I feel like it's the easiest to leave him out of conversations. He plays in Atlanta. He can be inefficient sometimes. His shot selection is bad. He doesn't really defend as much as people would like. So we only look at that part of him instead of the other good things, which his game translated from college to the pros. Well, he's a big-time scorer in the pros. He led the country in scoring in college. There's 1 year at Oklahoma. Well, he's one of the best passers in the game. He led the country in assists at the University of Oklahoma. So he led the country in scoring and assists when he played at Oklahoma. So his game translated. He's always been that kind of player. And I think that a guy like Trey Young should be celebrated more for the things that he's good at instead of focusing on what he's not good at.
Yeah. And to your point about Atlanta, I mean, they're still in the 7th seed. You know what I mean? Yes. So if their team was fully healthy, who knows how what seed they would be in right now. So no, I don't think they beat Boston. I don't think they beat Cleveland, and I definitely don't think they beat Boston. But they could still make some noise in the first round. Shake it up a little bit, make it interesting, make it a good watch. But I'm really curious to see how they do next year. With the young fellas being back and just getting healthy again. So I'm not the biggest fan about Trey Young, Chill, and I do disagree that he's on the level of Rajon Rondo as a passer facilitator, but still, I do think that Trey Young is a hell of a player, though. Definitely.
And I know how you feel about Rondo, and I think Rondo is a generational passer, 100%. But when I think about Trey Young, his court vision, his ability to decipher defenses, his ability to make passes through open windows, tight windows, like there aren't many guys in the league that are better. And to your point, like you talked to me about, because I think that the Celtics, I think they're going to win the NBA championship. But I'm confident, knowing who the Celtics are, Atlanta could get a game from them, maybe even 2.
Sure.
Just knowing who the Celtics are and knowing how good Trey Young is and what he's done in the past, I think Atlanta could get a game from them, maybe 2. Just knowing who they are, knowing how they shoot the ball, knowing how they can shoot themselves out of games. I'm confident that Atlanta could get a game from them. That could be that could be a 5, possibly a 6-game series if they ended up seeing them in the playoffs.
Facts. They did get 12 from last year.
Yep.
I don't, and I don't want to be that guy that just looking for a crazy take, but chill. Cleveland shouldn't be too comfortable. I'm just basing that just off these last couple weeks. Just basing that off these last couple weeks, some of the games Cleveland lost. So I don't expect Atlanta to beat them. I don't. I really don't. But Cleveland don't get too comfortable. You know what I mean? It could turn into something. I mean, we've seen Trey Young carry before. You know what I mean? And I know they're not in Madison Square. So, but still, I'm just saying, y'all, just don't get too comfortable, Cleveland.
For the record, Ox, I think Boston plays tonight. If they win tonight, they go down 3.5 games. They slowly creeping up on Cleveland. This is the same Cleveland team that was up like 12 games on them. If the Celtics win tonight, I think they go back 3.5 games. This is not over. This is not over. This is not over. And I'm y'all know how I feel about Cleveland. I'm big on Cleveland, but this thing is not over in the East. They could very well, if Cleveland keeps doing, if Cleveland keeps doing this like they're doing, and Boston keeps rolling. I think Boston have won 8 of their last 9 or 9 of their last 10, something like that. If they keep doing what they're doing, Ox, I mean, yeah, they won 9 of their last 10. Let them keep doing what they're doing, and Cleveland keep. Again, that was a division game last night between them and Detroit. That was another division game. If I'm thinking about it, the Central Division might be the toughest division in pro basketball. Cleveland, Milwaukee, Indiana, and Detroit. I think in Chicago. So we're looking at all 5 of these teams that might make the playoffs. That whole division may make the playoffs. I know that sounds nuts.
That's like
could make the playoffs.
That's like the Pacific Division last season or the season before that. That's like, so yeah. I mean, that is crazy.
Yes.
Let me see, where's Chicago? Chicago. I don't think Chicago will make it, but if they did, then yeah, that's nuts. Got Milwaukee, Detroit.
I personally don't think they're a playoff team. I think they're 9th right now, and
they're 33 and 40.
Yeah, and if the season ended today, I think that they got Miami in the play-in tournament, who I think that they would beat. I do think that. I think they'd beat Miami, and then they'd have to play the Atlanta, Orlando winner. Yeah, they'd have to play the Miami Orlando loser. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Yes, and could they beat Atlanta? They could. Would they beat Atlanta? I don't know. That right. I'm not sure about.
Right.
That I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some more some pretty shocking, crazy news that dropped yesterday out of Memphis. Now, when the news dropped, we were on the panel. Jordan was saying this is terrible GMing, bad GMing, and I tried to pause that. I was just like, wait, let's wait for a second, because we don't know. It could be something crazy. Because my mind is that no competent front office would fire a coach 2 weeks before the playoffs unless there was some egregious, right? Unless there was some egregious acts, something had to happen, right? So I'm like, Jordan, please, let's just calm down. Let's relax, because no reasonable person would do something like that, right? Come to find out, Chill.
That's exactly what
Memphis
happened.
might just be incompetent. I mean, there's nothing came out that Taylor did anything egregious. In fact, the Memphis GM Zach Kleiman, I'll read what he said. Chris Hayes dropped this yesterday. He said, I'm generally appreciative of Taylor's contributions to this team and this city over the past 6 years. This was a difficult decision given the consistent and tangible development of our players and overall success under Taylor's leadership. I wish Taylor the very best going forward.
Yep. Ox, you ever notice when you see that couple that you never see them fighting, but then one day you find out that they're just getting divorced out the blue? You're like, what the hell? I don't never see y'all fight. What's going on? Damn. What happened? Well, his foot was already out the door weeks ago, months ago. His foot was already out the door. He already had his mind made up of how he was going to do it. We just didn't know about it. And I feel the same way about Coach Jenkins. I think that he was already on the hot seat and they didn't know. Nope, none of us knew about it.
Right.
The fact that they were the number 2 seed a couple of years ago in 23, and they end up losing in the first round, and then the dissension within the team this year, Ja's complaining about how he's being used in the offense. There's some days where he doesn't want to play. There's some days where he looks like he does. When I think about,
so let's stay right there with Ja for a second, though. Sure. How dare you be the man one missing game after game? You're missing all these games, and you talking about I don't like how I'm being used in the offense. We can't depend and guarantee that you're gonna be here, Ja. So if we just keep making the offense all about you, and then you miss 20 games and then get suspended for the whole next season, then what is our offense going to look like? How dare Ja be the one, acting like that? So what I'm saying, Chill, you say that maybe Taylor Jenkins must have been on the hot seat this whole time. Why Ja little ass ain't on the hot seat?
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, Ox, because I think he is. I said this to you yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved off of him this summer. I would not be surprised if they moved off of him this summer, considering the injuries, the nonsense that was going on last year. This year, there was some dissension on the crew. And to your point, if I'm prepared for you not to be here, that's how I got to coach my team. I don't have to coach my team with the hope that you're going to be here. Hope is not a plan. I got to coach my team in efforts that, how are we going to win? Well, more times than not, you are here, but the times that you're not here, I can't play that way. I have to play because Scottie Pippen Jr. is not the same player that Ja is. So with Scottie Pippen Jr. on the floor, I gotta comprise my offense completely different. He's not as fast as Ja. He doesn't get downhill like Ja. He is a bucket getter though, and he can pass. But I think Ja's a better passer. So I think that I'm looking at a more defensive oriented unit because I think Scottie Pippen is a better defender than Ja. So I'm looking at a better point of attack guy. So I'm looking to speed the game up in that aspect. But in the half court, I'm looking more to set guys up because Ja's not around as much. But I feel like Coach Jenkins has lost that crew. And if we're being honest, Docs, and one thing that I found out with watching pro basketball, being around it for as long as I was around it, when you lose the crew, I equate it to losing your woman. Like when you lose her, Ox, she out. She ain't coming back. She gone. She is out. When no matter what you say, that's it. When she fed up, yo, she out. And when you lose your crew, and it seems like that's what was going on with Coach Jenkins. It seems like they had turned him off, which happens when you've been somewhere for a certain amount of time, especially with the kind of players that you have. If this isn't working, they kind of tune you out. And I feel like that's what was going on with Coach Jenkins. It's out the blue, but it does make sense because for them to fire him now instead of waiting for the playoffs to end, well, Ox, what difference does it make? We getting bounced in the first round anyway. So if we fire, it ain't like we winning it. So
yeah, but that's such a crazy way to look at it, though, Chill. I'm so shocked that they would do this. Like once again, I want to in front of all 350 people here. I want to make sure I apologize to Jordan because I was like, Jordan, there's no way, bro. It's no way. And he was right the whole time. This is I personally think, and y'all know, I'm coming from I'm a fan of a franchise that fires coaches like we change draws. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's I've seen this before. Like, why are you firing the coach right now? This is.
And remember too, Ox, when you fire somebody, especially in good businesses, you don't move on from something unless you have something to move on with. And the coach that they hired, he was already on the coaching staff, and I think that he was the guy. This isn't like what was going on in Boston. Everybody thinks that Coach Mazzulla was a great hire. Okay, well, first of all, the Celtics were scrambling. Coach Udoka got fired like a week before the season was about to start. 2 weeks before the season was about to start. So they had to get somebody, and they had to get somebody now. And luckily, he was there. Now, the assistant coach, who, if I'm not mistaken, he coached in Paris, Finnish coach, 42 years old, been on the staff for quite a while. It seems that they've taken a liking to him, and they want to move him up the ladder. and we're moving him up the ladder, it tells me, because we've seen this countless times. I've seen this a couple of different times where these young coaches or coaches that we don't know about are getting opportunities. And I feel like Memphis may be a team that's looking at this in terms of being progressive, that, we don't want to recycle another bad coach. We may have our coach right here. And let's not waste any time with getting him in, and moving on right now, because let's be clear, Ox, there may be times when, the assistant runs practice and coach and players gravitate toward that guy. They like how he's doing things. And because they like how he's doing things, well, you know what happens? Maybe we should get this guy up out of here and this guy should be running things.
Right.
Maybe.
And I've seen, so I don't know, is it, you pronounce his name Thomas? Is that Thomas? Tomas? Okay. Yeah. So I've seen just like on Instagram and whatnot. So I follow a couple of my guys that still play overseas, play in the Euro League and different divisions over there, and they're praising him. I guess he's kind of a big deal over there. Chill. He's a very accomplished coach. Knows the game. Seems like a player's coach. People like to play for him. So it could very well be that. It could very well be that, I've been on a part of coaching staffs where I'm listening to like the players, you know what I'm saying, and they're like, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, and we should be listening to this coach." And I'm just like, "God, okay, so that's how it is, right?" And I could very well see that being the situation in Memphis right now. Still, with that being said, though, I would still assume that they would wait until the end of the season, unless they think they're hiring this guy right now, they could potentially go on a run in the playoffs or something. I mean, that's the only logical explanation for doing it right now, is that they're like, okay, we're losing. We dropped a couple of games we shouldn't have dropped. Our standings isn't where we thought they would be. Maybe we can have a quick resurgence. Like when Doug Christie got the job in SAC, we went on like a 9-game win streak, 7-game win streak, lost one, won 3 more. Yep. Maybe they're like, okay, we can get that new coach energy leading into the playoffs. Yep. Maybe that's where they're coming from. I always really do try to give professionals the benefit of the doubt. When you're a professional at your job, I try to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, there's a reason why you did that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think you're just an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking it has to be something.
I remember when Bill Belichick said in the 2001 season, when Drew Bledsoe got hurt, Brady was his guy, but they had signed Bledsoe to an extension. He saw Brady and Bledsoe in training camp and was like, Brady's my guy.
Right.
He was between the two guys, but Bledsoe had signed an extension, so it was a political thing that he had to go with Bledsoe. Ox, I think that this Memphis organization, I think that this was their guy. And I think that with Jenkins being on the hot seat, I think that they wanted to make this move probably earlier, but they wanted to see what this season was. Ja was coming back healthy. Jaren Jackson was coming back healthy. The team started rolling early. I think they were as high as the number 2 seed at one point, and they were. And this was like maybe 2 weeks ago. They were like the 2 or the 3 seed at one point, and I feel like they already had their mind made up that this was their guy, but they couldn't pull the trigger yet because they were rolling. And then this could possibly be the time to do it because of the dissension and what's going on in the crew. And we don't want to lose this team. We don't want to lose this season completely. So let's get this going right now, and maybe we can have a resurgence.
I'm saying this has to be something along those lines. Chill, has to be. I'm still not for this move, regardless. But once again, there's a reason why their GM is their GM, and so we'll see how it plays out. It's always better to just see what happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're speculating, or we're giving our best analysis as we can, just based on the information we have. But you know what always tells the truth? Time. Time always tells the truth. So we just sit back and we'll see what happens. To the title of the show, we got some other topics that we want to get into a little later, but let's talk about these Milwaukee Bucks, Jill. Last night Milwaukee played the Knicks. We were there on playback, y'all. Hopefully all of y'all were here too. And if you weren't there, make sure you're there tomorrow. We'll be on playback tomorrow, which is Sunday. We'll also be on playback on Monday. I will be on playback on Monday. I won't be tomorrow. Chill, you'll be on tomorrow? Playback?
I don't think I'm on tomorrow night.
No. Okay. I'm not sure who's on tomorrow, but Player's Choice will be representing tomorrow on Playback on Sunday after the PCL. Speaking of, let me go ahead and just show that PCL some love as well. These are the Sweet 16. We are in the Sweet 16 of the PCL March Madness, powered by Playback. Tomorrow, Sunday, March 30th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Your very own Mars will be taking on Cowboy Bob. 5 p.m. Eastern, Swiper versus Real Talk. 5:30. Chill, you taking on SB Talk Sports. That's gonna we have some really good Sweet 16 matchups. As I'm reading down this list again, 6 p.m. we got Hayes versus Braxton Bandit. I'm looking forward to that one as well. And to close up the night at 6:30 p.m. we have Gifted versus Jordan. Y'all make sure do not miss that. The PCL has been amazing and it will continue to be amazing. Y'all continue to support, show up, and show love. Let me read this super chats real quick before we get into everything. From Joseph Washington. It says, "What's up, fellas? Shams came out and provided some context. Apparently, he wanted to go back to traditional ball, i.e. pick and rolls. The team wanted to keep this offense. Ja doesn't like this new offense.
No, he doesn't. Took the ball.
So the team wanted, like Desmond Bain, Triple J, all those guys wanted to keep it how it is. Ja doesn't like how it is. But Taylor Jenkins wanted to go back to traditional, like pick and rolls.
Well, the problem, like I told you before, Ox, he wanted to take the ball out of Ja's hands and he wanted to get the ball moving a little bit more. That was what it was. And Ja wants the ball in his hands and he wants to operate the way he operates. And it was slowing Ja down. But to your point, I mean, I can't build an offense around somebody that I can't rely on a regular. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't build an offense around a guy like that. Unfortunately, I can't.
I think that's unfair.
So I would not be surprised. They've already moved off of this coach. Now, one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to put the ball back in Ja's hands, and I'm going to rely on Ja to be more available, or Ja's out. One of those two things is going to happen.
Got to be. I don't see.
How is it? How is it, Ox, that we can't do it that way? Because again, you're talking about a guy who this is one of his most inefficient seasons, and that's due to the offense, according to him, and how the offense is. Okay, he's been in and out of the lineup because of injury. He had a hamstring injury, he had a shoulder injury this season, so he's been in and out of the lineup. They've won some games. I think they 2 games over 500 with him out of the lineup, so they win without him. But
yeah,
with us having what we have and with us having what we have currently, if I can't rely on you on a regular, how can I build my offense around you? I can't.
You can't. That's the answer. You just can't. It's impossible. But moving on to the Milwaukee Bucks, they have a guy there also that's out. I don't know how long. Chills is. I believe Dame's going to miss the rest of the season. That's what I've heard.
Yes.
So Chill, at the beginning of the season, Chill, you called the Bucks fool's gold. Called the Bucks fool's gold. We discussed their championship window maybe being 2-3 seasons after the acquisition of Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard goes out in March, right before the playoffs. I think their championship window is shut airtight. I think it's over. I think it's over for Milwaukee.
I don't. And the reason why I don't think that their window is shut is because we still got arguably the best player in the world on our team. So because we got the best player in the world on our team, one of two things can happen. One, we could still be competitive. And two, we could turn this thing around and get some quality in here and really have an opportunity to compete. So this was last season when I said that they were fool's gold. This season, I thought that they tried to do something better in terms of putting competent defenders around Damian Lillard, and it was kind of working. It was kind of when they had Andre Jackson, and he kind of reminded me of Robeson from Oklahoma City. Even though he wouldn't look at the basket, he gave me the vibe that possibly he could be a wing defender that they need. Well, Dame goes out of the lineup. And with Dame going out of the lineup, and them not upgrading at the 5 spot and then losing Bobby Portis, that threw a monkey wrench in everything that they were doing. Everything that they were doing. So now we're left with Giannis to have to carry the load again, right? And this is the same Giannis who was out of the lineup last year. But we still have a Giannis who's 30 years old, who I think I can get another 3 or 4 years of this Giannis. All I have to do is make the correct moves to put the pieces around Giannis. Now, here's the problem, Ox. The problem is Damian Lillard doesn't have much value. With this injury, nobody is really interested in touching that. Nobody. Now, from the reports that I've read and the information that I've got, this is something that's manageable. This is not going to get any worse, right? So, excuse me, because of that, we can get him back. Okay, so if we can get him back, we still have Dame and we still have Giannis. So if we get these two guys back in the fold, now all I have to do is shore up the other things. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but it's something that I can do. I can shore up my 5 spot. I can shore up my backup 5 spot. It was unfortunate what happened with Bobby Portis, but he's still one of the better rotation players in the game. I got Kuz. Kuz actually is really good in what we're doing, really good in our system. I got a long ball shooter in Tayshaun Prince. We aren't that far away, right? We aren't.
Torian.
Did I say Tayshaun? I keep calling this dude Tayshaun. I said it like 3 or 4 times. It's Torian Prince. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've said it like 3 or 4 times.
Shout out Tayshaun.
Yeah, shout out Tayshaun Prince. I apologize. But Torian Prince, I think he's second in the league. If I'm not mistaken, Torian Prince is second in the league in 3-point percentage. Something to that effect. With that being said, so I got long ball shooters. I end up with Kuz, who's been really good for what we're doing. I'd love to see him in a 82-game season. I still got Giannis, who's arguably the best player in the world. I still got Dame. I got to shore up my 5 spot. Who I'm calling up the Trailblazers, and I'll ask how they feel about DeAndre Ayton these days. I'll ask. I'll check their temperature, see how they feel about him. In addition to DeAndre Ayton, I still got a dirty work guy in Bobby Portis. This thing is not over, Ox. No, I said we got a 3-year plan. Right? I said we got a 3-year plan. I think next year, with the moves that they make this summer, with Giannis coming back, Dame is apparently going to be healthy. They don't think this thing is going to get any worse. They've managed it. With Dame getting healthy, you still got Torian Prince as one of the best long ball shooters in the game. With all of these guys and just shoring up smaller things like your 5 spot, getting wing defenders. This isn't huge things. You already got your franchise player. You do.
But so to be clear, you're speaking about next season, shoring up things in the offseason. You're not talking about it. So for you, this season's over. This is a wash.
It's a wash.
Okay.
I'm not getting, even if I get Bobby Portis back, I don't think I'm going to get much from him. He's been out for over 2 months. Dame's not going to play for the rest of the regular season. Brook Lopez, for all intents and purposes, he's slow. I got to upgrade at the 5 spot. I'm out on the rest of this regular season. I think that you get in the playoffs and you can compete, but for the most part, I think this thing is over this season. Next year, I still have pieces that are viable that I can build a championship team around, and that's Damian Lillard and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I have that, and I also have some championship experience in a young guy in Kuzma who played and started on the championship team in 2020.
And they hang on to Kevin Porter Jr. as well.
Yes, absolutely. Because I think he's one of the better rotation guards. I think Green is one of the best sharpshooters in the game. I think you got a sharpshooter in Prince. We aren't that far away. We do have to we have to shore up our defense on the wing. We have to shore up our defense on the wing, and I think we need a backup 5-man. And if you can do that, I think you're right back in the mix, right back in the middle of it.
Right. So I mean, sometimes you're so close, but to the outside looking in, it just looks so far away. So you could be onto something. Yeah. I do want to kind of just ask you if you have any insight to this, or if you know anything about this, or I don't know, just curious. This has been going around, just like some of the older players, specifically Kevin Garnett and just other players around there. They're saying that a lot of blood clot issues they think is coming from, first, dehydration, along with taking an excess of anti-inflammatories and stuff like that. Just different type of medicines that they got to take because, being athletes, I mean, we know, like after games, especially guys playing so many games, in a short amount of time, your joints swell up, You know what I mean? You got to deal with inflammation. And then these guys, they're catching flights, you know, and so when you get all the elevation coming down, you expand all of that, right? And so, do you know anything about that? Is that?
I don't, Ox. I wouldn't sit here and tell you that I do. I don't, but I do know that it could be a problem, and I hope that it's something that they get nipped in the bud. I do. Right. I hope that it's because I've since I've been watching and been around pro basketball, I've never seen anything like this in this short period of time. Like I said, the last time I remember this being an issue, I remember Lajuan had a blood clot issue. This was in like '89, right? He had a blood clot issue. They were able to deal with it, and it wasn't even national news. It was just something that was, Lajuan got a blood clot, but they'll fix it, and that's what happened. It wasn't. It wasn't something that was, sought after. Like, it just came and went. Like, this stuff now, Chris Bosh ends his career. Wemby's out for the season. Damian Lillard out for the season. This is something that I think that they need to get nipped in the bud. And don't get me wrong, Ox, I'm not much of a supplements guy. I think a lot of that stuff can be tricky. So I can't speak on it. I can't speak on it, but I just hope that this is something that they get nipped in the bud.
Yeah, definitely, man. Prayers up to all the guys that's dealing with that. Victor Wembanyama, Dame. I know Sar Thompson had a situation this year, last year. So, hopefully everybody gets healthy. That's ultimately what we want, y'all. We want everybody healthy. We want everybody healthy out on the court playing basketball, man. Never want anything like this to go wrong.
And I want to reiterate really quickly before you move on, Ox. This issue with Damian Lillard, they said it's not going to get any worse.
Right.
So they've managed it, and with them managing it, it seems that he's going to be able to come back and play. And this is the same Damian Lillard this season, who in my estimation was playing at an all-pro level. So because he was playing at an all-pro level, I still think he's got another year, maybe 2 tops at this level before he starts to slow down. So I'm not ready to give up on this thing yet, especially considering like he doesn't really have any trade value right now. Because other teams look at this and they want to shy away from it.
Right. Well, man, like I said, let's keep it positive, y'all. Yep. So let me see. Let's get through a couple of super chats, then let's get to the lobby. I want to hear what everybody got to say about these situations. But Ridge Maddox sent a super chat. He just wanted to say, "Love y'all. Salute,
brother. Thanks, brother.
Hey, man, we love you too, man. We love all y'all. Everybody that comes, supports the show, supports the channel, whether they come to the panel or whether they are here, the best show on the platform, or if they're over there with the guys on from the logo. That's a hell of a show too. They just acquired a free agent over there from the logo. And I mean, those dudes are already talking high level basketball, but like I said, they just acquired a free agent that's going to continue to step it up over there. So
pick them up off waivers. Pick them up off waivers.
Y'all make sure y'all tap into from the logo. Make sure, man, for sure. We appreciate y'all, definitely. Cowboy Bob, what if a bonus organization? Okay, what if a bonus the organization may not want to pay?
I don't know if I understand that.
Okay, I'm having trouble with this one. What if a bonus the organization may not want to pay? They could have let him go do a contract they no longer seem to honor.
It sounds like Bob is asking. It sounds like Bob is asking the question of if there's a bonus that's involved in this contract that they don't want to pay due to an injury, and they could just let him go. Well, that's where insurance comes in. So insurance, where if a guy can't play anymore, you don't have to pay him, and insurance will take care of that. That's what happened with Chris Bosh.
Okay. The Tribe One says 3 years ago it was clear, but today, who you got for the next 5 years, Ja or Zion? Lakers are going to be contender level in 2 weeks because vibes. Lakers in 6.
I still
you got the next 5 years, chill.
I'm still holding on to this. I'm going to get 5 years of health for Zion, and if I could get 5 years of good health from Zion, I've said this in the past. The way we talk about Luka and SGA and Jason Tatum, that's how we will talk about Zion. That's very much how we'll talk about Zion. I think
I'm
he's
gonna say
that
this
good.
too. I'm so proud of Zion for doing whatever he had to do to get in shape. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you like this, Chill. Them po' boys and gumbo hit like smack. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell you like this,
It's
dude.
hard out here, Ox. It's hard out here, B.
I'm telling you, dude. Don't be surprised if we get a relapse. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that stuff it hit like smack, Chill. I'm telling you.
It's like what Pookie said in New Jack City. Yo, this crack chick
Just keep
calling me, man. I gotta go to it. I be trying to kick. I just can't. I just gotta go to it.
I'm telling you, it's serious out here, y'all. So
I'm trying to
shout out,
and I can't leave it alone. I can't. I be trying.
Shout out to Zion though, because he did the work. You know what I'm saying? He looks amazing. His body looks right. He's nice and fit. I mean, he looks like looks like them dudes looked at Tennessee when what's his name? Grant Williams and what's the Admiral Schofield, when them dudes was at Tennessee looking like statues. That's how Zion look right now. Man, I'm telling you, Zion looks amazing. I'm proud of Zion. Shout out to him for sure.
Looks great. He does.
Braden Collister, how concerning do you guys think Luka's 2% field goal percentage is right now going forward? Why has it dropped so much lately?
Because he's still trying to get back acclimated to playing basketball. Don't forget, when he got back with the Lakers, he hadn't played basketball in 2 months. And then on top of him not playing 2 months, now he's got to get acclimated to playing in a completely different system. Not everybody's game travels like KD. Not everybody's game travels like Steph Curry. There's guys whose games it takes some time to get acclimated. Now, sure, James could say, yo, just be Luka. Well, it's easier said than done. A lot easier said than done for me to just come out here and rock. No, because we're doing different things. You need the basketball. He need the ball. I need the ball. And the ball moves. I'm not used to playing off the ball. So it's going to take me a minute to get acclimated to what we're doing. I had the ball when I was in Dallas. The offense was completely centered around me. Now I get here, the offense isn't centered around me anymore. I still can do my thing as a ball player, but I'm doing my thing within what was going on in Dallas. That's different than here. So,
right. I mean, yo, just because players are all-time great players, future first ballot Hall of Famers, doesn't mean they don't need a little bit of time to adjust. So, y'all give them a little time, man. Give them a little time,
please.
But right now, this is a part of the show where we let y'all come up here and chill with Chill. Let's get to the lobby. First up, we got my man straight out of Brooklyn. Big fan, Breezy. What up, Breeze?
Happy to be here. Happy to be here, man. I got 1 minute before I go back to work. I just want to say one thing. I wanted to say a lot of things, but I'll just say this. With the Taylor Jenkins thing, you know what I'm saying? With the Brooklyn Nets getting their draft picks back to back. Same thing happened with Triple J and John Morant. And I think that the front office was disappointed in how competitive they were before they give them those max contracts in that, I guess, rookie scale window, something like that. Yep. And maybe they expected the team to do more than, and because technically, they got to the playoffs 4 times, but they only won 1 playoff, you know what I'm saying, round. Yep. So I'm thinking maybe, and I do think that the franchise was hasty firing him. But in your opinion, Chill, what do you expect getting number 4 picking in Triple J and then a number 2 picking in John Morant? Do you think that they expected more from those 2 top draft picks to do more in the postseason, not just the regular season? I'm in the chat. Shout out to y'all. So great show.
Well, all right, Briz. That's why you drafted those guys, because they're the foundation of your crew. You drafted those guys because I'm building my unit around both John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. And this is going to translate into the postseason. Unfortunately, it hasn't, due to injury, due to these guys not playing up to their capabilities early. I mean, Ja ended up getting hurt in 22. I think they would have been a lot different had he been healthy. And then last year, none of those guys were healthy. They just completely missed the season. And in 23, they ran into a buzzsaw, which was the Lakers. That matchup was just a bad matchup for them. But they drafted both of those guys in effort to build that unit for them to be something viable, which is what they was trying to do this year. Memphis was at one point the number 2 seed, so it was working. It looked like it was working.
Yeah.
Looked like it was working to me.
Right. Next, who we had? Oh, Classic. Telling you, chill. Classic been tripping for about 2 months, but let's see what he got for us. So, what up, Classic?
Yo, what up? Yo, real quick, Ox, was that Hassan Whiteside in that video you posted that you scored on?
Oh yeah. That was just a little quick little something.
I was asking because was that high school or because I know he's from North Carolina.
No, that was the summer after he got drafted.
Okay, got you. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I want to talk about the Bucks thing, and I disagree with you, Chill. I don't think the Bucks window can open, and I don't think Giannis is nowhere being the best player in the NBA anymore. I think those days are done. Doc said I was tripping. I mean, you got to stop saying that about me, man. 'Cause everybody be tripping, man. You gonna make people start thinking I'm crazy for real, man. You got to chill out on that. But when I watch,
you said fire Eric Spoelstra and Mike Tomlin in the same city.
And the Heat lost 10 games, like they went on a 10-game losing streak, and now they like in the about to be out to play in.
Right.
But
Classic. I don't want to harp on it, but it was another super chat you sent a couple days ago, I think. but go ahead though. Go ahead. You ain't tripping, bro. I'm tripping. Go ahead.
Nah, but yeah, man, with the whole Giannis thing, man, I think people just start praising these stats too much. And when I watch him play, he just doesn't seem as dominant as he did when he won the championship. Because I remember like he used to do this spin move in transition when he would run and then he would hit like a spin move. And I don't see him bring that move out anymore.
He did it twice yesterday with the Knicks. He did it twice.
Yeah, but it just don't look as fluid as it used to. And I think now with the injuries are starting to pile up. I mean, yeah, he's become a better mid-range shooter, but his free throw still ain't the best. So I don't consider him a top 3 player in the league anymore.
So he's never been a great free throw shooter. That's one. And two, he's still just I think he's one of the most dominant guys around the rim still today than he was in years past. That hasn't changed. And there aren't 3 guys in the game better than him. They're not.
You there, Classic?
I think we lost him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we lost him. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, shout out to you, Classic. Appreciate you pulling up and giving your input.
Mm-hmm. I think we lost him.
Who we got? Oh, wait. Okay, here we go.
He back.
You there, Classic?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I accidentally exited the link. But yeah, what was you saying, Chill?
I don't think that there's 3 players in the game better than Giannis. There's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm taking Tatum over Giannis. I'm taking Shea over Giannis.
Based on what?
Like I said yesterday, I'm taking
JJ.
Because I mean, I just think they impact winning better. I think they do more to impact winning than Giannis. They play better off ball than Giannis. They're better shooters than Giannis. They're better free throw shooters than Giannis. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you put them on good teams, you can do more with those guys than you can with Giannis.
We've never seen Jason Tatum on a team that like what Giannis was on. We've never seen that from Jason Tatum. We've seen Jason Tatum on good teams. We've seen Jason Tatum on teams that were development, but we've never seen a team where Jason Tatum had to do everything like Giannis does. We've never seen that.
But that doesn't impress me doing everything. I think
why?
Because I feel like basketball is a team game. Why do you have to do everything? Like, why are we trying to individualize a team game?
You just told me that Jason Tatum is better than Giannis.
Yes.
He does everything. So why is he better than Giannis then, if that's the case?
Because he does everything, but he does it in a more team-oriented way. And that's why he does not, because he always if Giannis was better off the ball, if he was a better screener, this duo with Damian Lillard would work. If he was a better free throw shooter, for one, they never would have even traded Drew Holiday, and they would have never even had these problems to begin with. Like Giannis's flaws now and his athleticism diminishing, he's just not that guy anymore. But that's cool. And I think with players that are in Giannis's tier, I think it's easier to average 30 and 10 than it is to do what Shea is doing, averaging 30 on the best team in the league, on the best defense that we ever seen. So I just think that we start to praise stats too much instead of guys that are actually like dominating the game.
And
our
Giannis
impact
is
to winning.
there isn't a guy in the game that's more dominant than Giannis on the glass, in transition. He's the best transition player in the game. He's arguably the best player in the league around the rim. He's great on the defensive side of the ball. He can screen better. I do think that with him being able to screen, and I think that that's a product of Milwaukee's offense. And I think that's also a product of the Boston Celtics offense because they use a lot of screens. Not necessarily pick and dive, but they use a lot of screens to cause mismatches. I think that's the difference in what they run in Milwaukee and what they're doing in Boston. But to say that he's not as dominant and it's not there anymore, he's 30 years old. He's in the middle of his prime. He's not just getting buckets, and he's not just scoring. He's not just rebounding. He's not just defending because he's out there. No, he's still supremely athletic, still to this day. And I think I can get 3 or 4 more years of this Giannis.
Yeah, you could get 3 or 4 more years, but Giannis is not winning another championship. He's not. I mean, like I said, though, his prime. He's at the other end of his prime now. He's still going to get you good stats.
He's in the middle of it. 30 years old.
To me, it's just like KD. Like you said, KD's going to always get you 25. But now KD's going to get you 25 on losing teams because he's just not dominating.
He's completely different. KD is different. He's 36 years old. He's completely different.
Well, Giannis is almost there. I've never seen Giannis in the 6th seed before.
He's not even close.
Not when he was the best player in the league.
Well, don't forget
next year, where he going to be in the play-in?
Don't forget
the best player in the league.
I just think that's so unfair, Classic. Don't forget what's happened to him in his unit. Don't forget.
It's his fault, though.
No, it is not. He has nothing to do with Damian Lillard going out with blood clots. He had nothing to do with Bobby Portis.
If he played better in that Miami series, they would have never traded Jrue Holiday.
That part I won't argue.
So what do you mean it's not his fault then?
No, we're talking about today. That's what we're talking about.
Today, if he was I understand that the blood clots, but if he was a better player today, they wouldn't be this low in the ranking.
But he is a better player today. If Damian Lillard was available, like he was,
they would still be where they at now.
No, they would not be in the 6th seed. They were in the 4th seed, and they were 3 games behind. They were 3 games behind the Knicks. So that's just not true. That's not true at all. And if Bobby Portis was there, they'd be right in the middle of this playoff race. That's just not true. And you know that that's not true, Classic. No, that's not true. I'm not buying that. Absolutely not.
Right. Well, Classic, got anything else before we go?
Nah, that's it, man. I appreciate you guys having me up.
Yeah.
Of course. Always. Appreciate you. Okay. Let's see. Who we got next? We got, Rock Out Deuce. Let's get Rock Out Deuce up to the stage. What's up, fam?
What up?
What's up, fellas?
What up?
Man, I just want to speak on the Taylor Jenkins situation, man, because a lot of people just questioning, what happened with Taylor Jenkins? He's such a great coach, which I'm not going to deny. It's been hard all season to defend Taylor Jenkins. I love Taylor Jenkins. I'm going to miss him. But as a person that watches every single Grizzlies game, a lot of these games we lose is because of his rotations. He has probably the worst rotations I've ever seen. It'll be the 4th quarter, and it'll be like 6 minutes left in the game. We in a dog fight with the Knicks, the Rockets, and you still looking at John Morant on the bench. You still looking at Jaren Jackson on the bench. It's little details like that he'll do, and it'll cause us to lose games. And now you got people out here running saying, we can't beat nobody above 500, and we're a first-round exit. And with this offensive system that we're running, it doesn't favor Ja at all. I don't know how much y'all watch the Grizzlies at all. How many games have y'all seen John Morant just sitting in the corner, not being the primary ball handler, but you looking at Vince Williams bring up the ball?
A few times, 100%. Sitting in the right corner, sitting in the left corner.
Yeah, and
off the ball. Yes, I've seen that a few times. Yes,
and that's not right. But with this new coach, he's a what they call a PNR coach. So he's gonna run a whole bunch of pick and roll. You're gonna see a better, because a lot of people saying John Morant fell off this season when the system doesn't match. You're gonna see better looks for Ja. You probably gonna see better looks for Zach Edey, because I seen Zach Edey said pick and roll is his favorite.
I don't think that they run enough offense for Zach. I don't.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot more looks for Zach Edey. Zach Edey need to learn how to catch the goddamn ball, though, man. God damn.
I just got the job. Can you hold on for a second? I just got here, my man. It ain't like I've been here for 5 or 6 years. I just got here. I'm trying to get used to, getting the ball fired at me. I just came from Purdue. I go from playing with the young dude to playing with Ja, who's looking me off, and I'm not used to that. So you gotta give me a second. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. We probably gonna see better looks from Desmond Bane now at the 3, because I've seen too many drives from Desmond Bane. I'm seeing more drives than 3s, and I don't really like that. I think it's a good look for this team. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be good.
To play devil's advocate. Now to look down at the bench at Ja in the fourth quarter, because he's on the bench with 7 minutes or 6 minutes. Is it possible that I want my rotation guys in because later on I'm going to need these guys in stretches like this, and I want these guys to gain confidence. That way, when we get in the playoffs, they're more prepared, as opposed to like what Tibbs does. If you don't give me anything in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I'm yanking you and you're done.
Gotta go. And see, the thing is with this Chill, I just don't like the timing of him being fired. I don't like the timing at all. I would at least let it ride through the playoffs. And if it went good, it went good. We keep him around. If it went bad, then we gotta let him go in the offseason, man.
You breaking up with her anyway. Stop the bullshit. You was cutting her off anyway, right? You told Ox already that you was out. It was just a matter of time. So why are we waiting until after the family reunion? You don't want, but you breaking up with her anyway. What difference does it make? You was out on her. You was already out.
It was just a hard decision, man. Taylor Jenkins been around so long, man. I really like Taylor Jenkins. I mean, you look at the team, he dancing with the team, and they vibing with him. It was a hard decision, man. It was hard.
I get it.
It was real hard, man.
I get it. I do.
I heard you say one time that OKC wouldn't be ready because of J-Dub. I actually think it's gonna be Chet Holmgren. I think some teams are gonna take advantage of Chet Holmgren because the game I watched the other night when we played them. If you got a physical big that can just dog up Chet Holmgren, it looked ugly.
Well, we saw that last year. We saw Valanciunas as physical as he was, and Chet made him unplayable. So, I mean, I don't think that there's a guy. I mean, Joker will joke. I mean, if we talking about physical bigs, Joker could rough him up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, could Rudy rough him up? I mean, could Sengun rough him up? These are the people. Could Julius Randle rough him up? These are the people that I'm thinking about. Like, could these guys rough him up and you get nothing? Because this is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about if you roughing him up, but you get nothing, now he becomes unplayable. A guy like J-Dub, that 20 a game that I'm getting in the regular season, that's got to go up if we're trying to win it.
Yeah.
That's not enough. That's not enough, especially when we run up on teams that are scheming specifically to slow you down. They already know what they're going to get out of SGA. We got to slow him down. Because we're going to cancel SGA out with, I don't know. We're going to cancel SGA out with Ant Edwards. So if SGA goes for 32, Ant's going to go for 29 and 7, something like that. We can't let J-Dub go 27 or 28. That sinks us.
Yeah.
Completely sinks us. Yeah.
And he lucky Sabonis not on the contender because Sabonis will rough his ass up. Sabonis will dog him.
I've said this to this dude plenty of times. I watched the Heat play Sacramento one night, and I was saying to him, like, can you imagine having to fight with him all night? I don't want to fight with that.
Sabonis a dog.
I'd be pissed having to fight with him all night.
Sabonis is a dog, man.
Let's go, no doubt. We're gonna talk.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man.
Funny he brought DeMontis up and being our contender because that's what we were going to next. Apparently, there's going around the league that we might be losing our all-star big man. So they're saying that if we don't come with a good direction, that DeMontis is likely to ask out once a trade. Where could you see DeMontis going, Chill? What team could use the DeMontis Sabonis?
Phoenix. He would be great in Phoenix. Oh,
they would I like Phoenix. I could
a passing big man that cleans the glass because they don't get anything from the 5 spot in Phoenix.
Right.
Zero. They get nothing from their 5 spot in Phoenix. But again, I applaud Sabonis for this because with my chick analogy, all she asking is where are we going?
Right.
She don't want to leave, but she will.
Right.
She'll stay with you if she feel like, we going. Just tell me what we doing. All right, baby.
Right.
This is what we doing.
We've been together 6-7 years. You ain't putting a ring on my finger. What's happening?
What we doing? And I'll wait another 6 or 7 more years if you tell me that you marrying me. But this is the direction we going. But don't tell me that, I don't know what's going on because I'm not sitting around here for another 6-7 years waiting on you. I'm not going to do that. And that's what Sabonis is. Sabonis just wants to know what direction are we going in. What are we doing, guys? That's it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, chill. I've been a fan of the Suns before. You know what I'm saying? When they had Amari and those guys, I'll be right back. Let's make it happen. DeMontis, where we going? Where we going, big fella? Let me know.
We staying on the West Coast. We just moving down south. That's
right.
All.
That's fine. I like it. I'm all good with that. Before we get back to the lobby, we only got 20 minutes left, so I do want to bring up a couple other things. Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard, chill. It looks like Kawhi is ready for the playoffs. Could there be some teams in trouble? Let me see real quick. Let's look at the West. 6 versus 3. The Nuggets are the 3 seed. Shit. Well, that's what it's looking like right now. If the playoffs started today, it will be the the Clippers versus the Nuggets. How do we feel about that, chill?
I don't hate that matchup. And the reason why I don't hate that matchup, because you got a legit big defender in Zubac who's great at finishing around the rim. I think it'd be a great test for Denver's perimeter defense. A great test for Denver's perimeter offense, because you got one of the better on-ball defenders in Chris Dunn. You got a great on-ball defender in the left-handed kid. I love him. I keep forgetting his name. I don't know why. The dunk contest champion, the dunk champ guy. Derrick Jones Jr., sure. So I think you got really good perimeter defenders with those guys, and I feel like you could force Russ. I feel like you can force Jamal Murray into tough shots. Now the question is can that be reciprocated? Do you have the personnel to force James Harden into tough shots? Who is going to deal with Kawhi Leonard on the defensive end? That's going to have to be Christian Brown. Christian Brown is going to have to take that assignment, and I think that's a tall task for him. Especially the way I think that's a tall task for him, especially the way Kawhi Leonard has been playing. And I said this to you a couple of days ago, Ox. I don't want to. I'm sitting at the dinner table, and you know what? I don't want to talk about old shit. Let's talk about this dinner that you just put in front of me. That's fantastic right now, right? Let's talk about the date we went on last night. That was great. I don't want to talk about old shit. I want to enjoy what's going on right now. That's all I want to do, because from what I'm seeing from Kawhi Leonard, he doesn't look like old Kawhi. He looks like Kawhi of old. That's what he looks like. He doesn't have the burst, but he still got enough where I can get the spots. The ball is still on a string. That mid-range is still what it is. I can still slice to the basket and punch it. Now, I might not be able to punch it on a regular like I used to, but I can still do that. And when you got that Leonard on your crew, hey, I stick my chest out a little bit more, Ox. I walk a little bit taller when I'm running with that dude. The question is, the question is how long am I going to get that guy? But I don't want to talk about that. You know why I don't want to talk about that? Because I don't care. I'm going off what I'm seeing right now. I'm going off what I'm seeing right now, and I'm loving what I'm seeing right now from Kawhi Leonard. He's competing on the defensive end, and I think that's resonating throughout the rest of the crew and how much better this crew has gotten. And I like what I'm seeing from the Clippers. I do. I like what I'm seeing from the Clippers.
Somebody in the chat said it a minute ago, chill. I think Aaron Gordon probably gonna have to check Kawhi. I don't think Christian Brown goes anywhere near Kawhi Leonard. I would advise him not to. I don't think the young man is ready for that, chill. Kawhi's too big, he's too strong, he's too smart, he's just too good. I think that's one of those situations where Aaron Gordon got to step up and say, if he's gonna give it to anybody, it's gonna have to be me. You know, because that could get ugly for the young fella. And I like Christian Brown. I like him a lot, but he's not ready for that type of heat. I don't think so. And you know what? I didn't know Denver was a 3 seed. I don't know who I thought was the 3 seed. So I wasn't expecting that. So when I saw it, I was a little hesitant. But as you talked about it, and I remember the big Zoo and the beast he is, and James Harden and Chris Dunn, and obviously Norman Powell. I'm here to tell y'all right now, if the season ended today, the Denver Nuggets will be a first-round exit.
It's not ridiculous for me to think that. It's not ridiculous for me to think that they could get bounced in round one. Here's the thing that I'm thinking about. When I think about Kawhi Leonard, so Oxo, I think over his last 8 games, so that's half the month, I think he's averaging 27, 8, and 4 on some ridiculous efficiency. He looks so much more poised. This injury actually was a blessing almost to me, because it looks like it slowed him down to the point where he knows exactly where to get to. He knows exactly how to get to where he's trying to get to. And he doesn't have to exert as much energy as he did in the past. He knows exactly how to play, and he knows how to take advantage of mismatches. Him in that mid-range, it's like peanut butter and jelly. Those two things just go together.
Right.
Those two things just go together. And he's just so much better at getting to the mid-range than a lot of guys that I've seen. Right. And with that being said, if he could keep this up and he could hold up, boy, I tell you what, man, I know how good Joker is as a distributor, and I know how good those guys are playing off of him. But I tell you what, man, James Harden, Norman Powell, Zubac, those guys are damn good playing off of James Harden. I think James Harden could be the linchpin in this series, Ox, because he's the one. If we could slow him down, and we could force him into tough shots and get him turning the basketball over, I think we'd be in business if you're the Denver Nuggets.
Definitely. I could see that. Let me see who else we got in the lobby. We got Matthew Elliott. What's up, Matt?
What up?
What's going on?
What up?
Yes, I was actually had a question about Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi won a ring this year. How are we talking about him? Like, is he gonna be in a top 10, top 15 conversation? Is he top 3 small forward to ever do it? We gonna try to get him to that number 2. So like, how are we talking about Kawhi Leonard?
Talk about it.
It's gonna be so tricky, and the reason why it's gonna be so tricky because the championship box gets checked.
Right.
With the championship box getting checked and how much people care about winning, that's gonna make Kawhi Leonard catapult into conversations that should he be in, should he not be in? I mean, I think Scottie Pippen's a top 5 small forward all time. He never won league MVP, so I'm not going to hold that against Kawhi Leonard. I think the longevity part may be tricky for some people. For me, for me, I don't think he was better than James. I don't think he was better than Bird. I don't think he was better than KD. I don't think he was better than Scottie Pippen. And then at number 5, that's where it gets tricky. So like Elgin Baylor, Havlicek, guys like that. That's where it gets tricky for me.
His game is weird though, because like, at his best, you can say he's the best defender in the league and top 5 scorer in the league.
At his best, no. Don't stop there. At his best, we could have a conversation that he's the best player in the league.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like
we can have that
he's
conversation.
Such a weird player. He doesn't have the longevity of KD, Curry, or Braun, but his game is just up there with them.
I'm nice like all of you dudes.
But wait a second though. Wait a second. Hold on. How does he? Okay, he missed 2 seasons, 2.5. We'll give he missed 2.5 seasons. Curry missed 2 seasons.
Okay, so Curry missed the 1 season.
But
we put together.
Because what you got what 2021.
To answer your question though, Matthew. To answer your question though, Matthew, if Kawhi were to go grab another ring this season, you put LeBron. It's LeBron, and that's where the love stops.
One more time.
I'm sorry, it's LeBron. It's LeBron and Bird, and that's where the love stops. Right there. Right.
So
there,
do you think he has a chance
right
to like
Larry Bird? That's where the love stops.
So how far is him and Larry Bird if he win a ring? Is it like this close?
There's
is
space.
it like how far are we talking?
There's a lot of space.
There's
a lot of space.
Like
not a whole lot, but there's space though. You can
so he still got to play a little bit longer to reach up there with Bird if he does win another ring.
I'm never gonna put Kawhi Leonard over Larry Bird.
Oh, okay.
So I James, Bird, KD, Doc, Scotty. Those are the 5 that I'm thinking about. And then we could talk about like Havlicek and Elgin Baylor. Like I think he was better than Dominique Wilkins, and I'm a Dominique Wilkins stan. I think he was better than Neek. I think he's better
than Scotty. I ain't gonna lie, man.
I know that there's some people that want to have that conversation. I don't think he was better than Scotty.
So what is it? Wait, what's the difference between him and Scotty? What's keep you saying Scotty over Kawhi?
I think Scotty was a better defender. I think Scotty was more versatile on offense. I think Kawhi Leonard was a better scorer, and I'll give you that. That I won't argue, but I feel like as an overall offensive player, I think Scottie Pippen was better than him. He was a better
because
distributor. He was a
better
better
in
playmaker.
transition. He was a better passer.
Transition player. Transition player. I think he was more versatile on the defensive end, and I think he was. And durability matters too. I can't leave that out. Durability 100% matters. So those are the five small forwards that I'm thinking about: James, Bird, KD, Doc, Scottie Pippen. Those are my five. After that, we can have a conversation about Havlicek. We can have a conversation about Elgin. We can have a conversation about Leonard. That, and then that's where we go.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm not but that ring thing,
I'm
that
thinking
ring
I got
thing,
him
to
in
be honest
top
with you,
4.
Elliot,
He won another ring.
That ring thing, that's not a conversation I'm looking forward to having because it's gonna get real tricky, B.
Because you could really say he top 15 if he does it right. Let's say he have another 2019. Well, that's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna get
that's
tricky.
That's three rings with 3 different franchises. I'm assuming he'll get the Finals MVP. If not, maybe James Harden does. But that's all I want to talk about too. James Harden. I think a championship will do a lot for James Harden. That is solidify him.
Probably get his respect.
I think so too. I mean, you got you already got to put some respect on James Harden's name, but I think a ring, especially a ring that he's gonna have to heavily contribute to. They're not gonna win a ring if James Harden doesn't heavily contribute to it. So I think that would do a lot for him and a lot for Kawhi. I would love to see that. A lot of people already got James Harden top 3 shooting guard all time, top 5 point guard all time. So I think a ring right there would just solidify him right there, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. Still not better than Manu, but I'm fine with it though.
Oh man.
Good to talk to you, brother.
All right, man.
Y'all have a good one, man.
Yes, sir. Ox, that conversation
not getting no Manu.
Tricky. That conversation gonna get ridiculously tricky. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Definitely will. Definitely. And I'm here for that conversation. I'm happy to have that conversation. Let me blast through a couple of these super chats real quick. Rockout Deuce sent a super chat, said Zach Kleiman should be held accountable also for getting rid of that 2022 squad and making the roster younger. Memphis needs vets.
Maybe they do. Yeah. They were building that team around Ja. They was building that team around, that's why they ended up in the space that they ended up in. They were building that team around Ja. They was building that team around Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane. Then I mean they had a couple of vets. I mean Marcus Smart was there, but then then they moved on for him. I mean they Steven Adams was there, so they did have vets. So it's not like they didn't have vets. They did have vets, but they were a young team. They were building that team around kids.
Yeah, definitely were. Let's see who we got here. Cowboy Bob says, wow, Kawhi, 20 points, 49% field goals, 40% 3-point, and 80% free throws. Kawhi's balling out, y'all. That shouldn't shock us, though. We should expect that from Kawhi. Motas Musa says, what is your top 10 players in the league right now?
Joker, Giannis, Jason Tatum, SGA, Luka, James, KD, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, Wemby.
Okay.
I left Steph out. My fault. I left Steph Curry out. Steph Curry's put Steph Curry in there too. Steph Curry's a top 10 player in the game. 100% he is.
Shout out.
Yes,
Steph.
He is.
Matas Musa comes with another super chat. Says predicting a Porzingis plus Drew trade for Sabonis.
This is this season right here. This is why I think with this Boston Celtic team, this is championship. They have to win it this year because this is going to be a completely different team. This is a completely different team next year because of the salary cap and those contracts that they ended up paying these guys. They start to kick in next season. So the salary cap is going to look real different. Yeah. And this is a team that is going to enter the second apron. So I'm not going to be surprised when I see, Porzingis get traded, Drew Holiday may be on the block, and they may be looking to make some moves. Yes, 100%.
So I was listening to on my way home yesterday. I was listening to some NBA radio, and I think it might have been Justin Termini and Eddie Johnson. I think it was them or the guys that come on before them. I can't remember. They were saying that if the Celtics won this year, this year, making it a repeat, that it's highly unlikely for them to move off of those guys because they could have a chance at a three-peat. So I'm not really sure. I don't know if that would come into play or whatnot. I don't know if the three-peat's more important than the salary cap, the luxury tax that they're already going to have to pay anyway. So I'm not sure. I mean,
it gets ridiculously expensive when you're trying to win. I've said this countless times, Ox, that pro basketball isn't like pro football. It's not like pro baseball. You're not winning on the cheap in the NBA. Yeah. You're not. Right. If you winning in the NBA, you got to pay. You have to.
Is it not worth it to be the first team to three-peat since 2002?
I do think that I do think it's possible that they could look past that, but it depends on what that luxury tax is going to look like. Because remember, Ox, with this new CBA, it is not what it was in the past, where it's for every dollar you owe $2. Now it's for every dollar you owe $3. So for every dollar you over the salary cap, you owe $3. So
that's taxing.
Yes.
Golly.
And that adds up quick.
I do want to say this about that super chat. Chill, I've been a fan of the Celtics before.
Yeah.
I've had a couple Paul Pierce jerseys. You know what I mean? I was a fan before KG got there, and I was a super fan when KG got there. I'm gonna tell you like this: it won't take much for me to go back to Boston. So if they were to acquire DeMontis, let's go, big fella. Let's go, big fella. We're back in Boston. Okay. I just want to make this clear to everybody. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I go where DeMontis goes. Okay. We trade DeMontis. My Kings tenure is over. It's been 25 years. It was fun while it lasted. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. We got time for one more guest. Let's close this out with 2 cents. What's going on, fam?
What's up? What's up, man? I finally got Ox on the line. Yeah. Hey, check this out, man. I'm gonna start with this right here. I was hearing one of the shows, and y'all was talking about defense. Defense. The guys that y'all was talking about that play a lot of defense, y'all play organized basketball before. You know, every guy that you said can get cooked one-on-one, but basketball is played collectively and is systematically done. Because all I'm going to do is D you up, and then when you beat me, I'm going to run you to the next great defender. Because every good defender, I promise you, he's got another guy that's real good right behind him, and that's how it works. Drew Holiday is good, but he's only good as the next guy behind him, and that's how it's going to work. Nobody cares about how good you play one-on-one defense, because the next guy can set you a pick. He's going to free up the next. He's going to free you up. That's how it's going to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of them disrespecting people like the younger generation. They do. I think it's a slight trolling, like a Giannis, Steph Curry, Harden. They call them trash. They don't really mean it. They call them trash. I'm like, come on, man, stop it. These guys are not trash when they say it. They don't really mean it. They're just saying they're trash. But their resume speaks for itself.
Sure.
These guys are putting up crazy numbers. Mm-hmm. We know that. But y'all are trying to add what they did yesteryear. No, what have you done for me lately? I'm not putting people like AD and that Kawhi stuff that y'all talking. Stop it. I'm not putting guys that's on the all glass team. AD, Kawhi, Steph used to be with his glass ankles. People like that, they're not worthy of being that great. They're great players, but let me
jump in there when you was talking about the defensive thing real quick before we move on to this one. I do think, yeah, of course, it's when you're a good wing defender, you need a good big defender, rim protector, of course. But in order to have a great team defense such as what Oklahoma City has, we all have to be able to stay in front of our man. I know that's pretty much an impossible task, but I have to be able to guard my man in order for us to have a good team defense, because I'm definitely going to need help. To your point, I'm definitely going to need help, but I still have to be able to not play what they call it Ole defenses, let you go by me. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's hand in hand.
Yeah. But see, they overrating what Kawhi. See, you remember how they used to hype up best two-way player and stuff like that with Kawhi? Yes, Kawhi has great footwork, so he can guard his man very well. But you got to remember, on teams that he plays, Kawhi still can get cooked on defense. He get cooked on a lot of plays, but typically your best player, he's not going to guard the best player until crunch time. He get cooked a lot.
Maybe this version of Kawhi, if that's what we're talking about, I agree with you. But prime defender Kawhi, he's taking the best assignment. And I do think that the best defenders get scored on the most because they're guarding the best offensive players.
Yeah, but when he did his thing, you got to remember, didn't he have, what was that dude named that used to shoot the threes on his was it Bo? No, what was his name? Bowen?
On what
the guy, what was his name?
On whose team?
On the Spurs.
You talking about Boris Diaw?
No. The guy that could shoot the threes. Bowen? Yeah, Bruce Bowen, and he had Tim Duncan, and like he didn't do it by himself. He could, whatever he had a fault. It's a way to play. Yeah, he could shade. Yeah, he was known as a defender too. Yeah, he would shade his way and play his defense to run you to a tall Tim Duncan and stuff like that. He did play great defense, but it was overshadowed. And when he go to another team, if he's that great, bro, that stuff it only works when you got other guys that can play within a system, which was Pop. It is nobody locking nobody down. Okay, you held me to 38 points type of deal. Nobody in the league can really just lock a guy down. Nobody just said clear it out.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think guys like Dyson Daniels, I think Evan Mobley, I think Drew Holiday, I think that you can slow guys down for stretches when it's necessary to slow guys down. I think that that's going on. You're not going to hold a guy to 10 points. You're not going to hold a guy to 15 points. I get that part. But when it's necessary to get stops, that's when these guys show who they are. And I think Leonard was definitely one of those guys. I think Drew Holiday is definitely that guy. Now, don't get me wrong. I am as good as, that big guy behind me that's helping me out underneath the basket, sure. But these guys on the perimeter, these guys definitely are slowing guys down. I watched Dyson Daniels slow Jason Tatum down. 100% I saw him do that.
Yeah, yes, you slow him down. You can. That's what I'm talking about. It's called, look, these are NBA professional players. It's called slowing them down.
That's good defense. That's defense in the NBA.
That's considered great defense. But what I'm saying to you, look at the stat line after the game. Okay, you held me to 40 points. He would have got 55 if he didn't check him. That's what I'm talking about, bro. All that stuff they're doing, it be about sliding them to a great.
Here's the difference, though. Too, like I held you to 30. You had 38. Okay, of that 38. You only scored 12 on me, and you didn't score in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I'm not just box score watching here. No, I'm watching you as a defender. I watched last season when SGA was playing against the Boston Celtics, and Jason Tatum shut the door on him in the last 5 minutes of the game. He didn't score a bucket, not one bucket. Yeah. And Jason Tatum was guarding him. These guys guard, yo. We got to give him credit, but
right. But
I'm out, man. You only had like 5 or 10 minutes left, but that's what makes a good player a great player. He even if you shut my shot down, guess what happened? I'm gonna get my assist off. I don't need to score them all and get in my ego. That's what I love about Joker. He'll get 15 assists on you because you trying to stop me from shooting the ball. But it's okay. But you understand what I'm saying, though. Both of y'all do. All right. That's what's up, bro. Love you, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's what defense is in the NBA. There's so many skilled offensive players. My job is to make you move, do extra. My job is to turn you. My job is to get you to pass to the next guy. So I think we're kind of saying the same thing. I hope 2 Cents doesn't think that I expect guys to be able to shut down NBA level scores. You know what I'm saying? That's just not realistic, and I don't think it's going to happen. But making it tough is good defense, I think. But that's what that is. As y'all know, My phone is blowing up. Cheerio is texting me, calling me, telling me to get out of here. I got to go watch Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia. I got to watch because it's a good matchup. Haley Van Lith. It's going down right now. I got TCU. But let's go check that out. Chill.
Let's go do that. Hey, y'all know where to find us at every Saturday and on Thursday too. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother. When last time you talk to your mother? If you're ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, hey, my man will look out for you. He got you. We will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys today.
All right. Don't forget, Sweet 16 of the PCL starts tomorrow and continues on Monday. Don't be late, y'all. Don't be late. Make sure to be there. Me and Chill, we'll see you on Monday on the panel. Y'all keep your notification bells on. Keep supporting the channel. We appreciate you. We love y'all. Make sure you drink some water, get some cardio, and never drink and drive. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Don't do that, yo. Don't do that. Later, guys. Good to see you guys. Absolutely.